friends, you are welcome to Maths Solution. In Maths Solution, we have been talking about the quadratic equation, so we are still in the quadratic equation series. For today, we are going to look at how to use completing the square method to solve quadratic equations. Now, let's look at the first example on the board. Here it says x squared minus 8x plus 3 equals to what? 0. Now, if you observe the terms, the first and the last term, you see that by what we did in our previous lessons, if we take the square root of this first term, it gives us x, which is, this is a perfect square. But if you come to the last term, which is 3, the square root of 3 is not a perfect square because it will give us an irrational number. So therefore, we cannot use perfect square method here. So the step we have to take here is to move this plus 3 to this side where we have 0. So on this side will become 0 minus 3. So we'll come to this step here, we'll write x squared minus 8x, and then everything should equals minus 3. How do we get this minus 3? We simply moved our plus 3 to this side. Now at this point, what are we going to do? We are going to ask ourselves this question: what are we going to add to x squared plus 8x to complete the square here? That is to make it a perfect square. So from what we did in the last lesson, I believe you can recall. Please, if you have not viewed if you have not watched the last video, please go and do so, and after this lesson, so that you can have a perfect understanding of what we are talking about. Now from here we add k to both sides. Why are we adding k to both sides? Because we are dealing with equations, so anything I introduce here, I'm also going to introduce it here. So at this point now, in this place, the left side, we are going to put our bracket and introduce the square. Now at this point, the square root of x squared, the square root of x squared will give us x. We write down the x here, and then you take your minus sign. Then we are going to get the value here, and that value here comes from the square root of what? K. So if we take the square root of k, of course we don't know what the answer is going to be, so let's assume it to be what? B. And if we are to get k, it means that k will become b squared. Now the idea is to come to the middle term, which is 8x. We are going to equate this to 2 times this x we have here times x, then of course times b. And if you cancel out x and divide both sides by 2, we have the value for b as 4. So you can see that what comes here next is what? 4. Then on the right side we have minus k plus minus 3 plus. Don't forget that k is equals to what? B squared. So if b is 4, 4 squared will give us 16. Therefore 16 is coming to this place. I believe this explanation is quite easy. Please just try to follow up and you understand as we go on. So at this point here we have x minus 4 all squared equals to, now minus 3 plus 16 will give us 13. Now we have to remove this square and bring it to this side. Now here is how we do that. You have to take the square root of both sides to remove this square. So if the square leaves this place and comes to the right side, you will write it as plus or minus then square root of what? 13. Now from here we can remove our minus 4, move it to this side, becomes plus 4. Then we have plus or minus root 13. Now we are going to stop here as the final answer, although we can still go on ahead to use a calculator to get the square root of this. Okay, but for now I would like us to stop here. So x equals to 4 plus or minus root 13. This is now the root of this quadratic equation. I hope the explanation is clear to you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and then also to subscribe. I will see you in the next class.